I still remember that rainy night, as if it were branded into my soul. The cold raindrops stabbed my skin like icy needles, soaking straight through my thin jacket until I shivered so hard my teeth chattered. I stood there on the front steps, my beat-up suitcase lying in a puddle at my feet, rainwater streaming down my face like endless tears. I was only 19, just a girl who still believed her father's promises. And in one single night everything I knew shattered into pieces. "You're a thief!" My stepmother Victoria shrieked from inside the warm house, her shrill voice slicing through the storm. She waved a printed bank statement like a weapon, her eyes wild with victory. $500,000 vanished from your father's company account. It was you, Lily. Don't you dare deny it. I dropped to my knees right there on the wet concrete, my voice cracking as I begged through the downpour. "Dad. Please, Dad. I swear I didn't take a single cent. It's her she's hated me since the day she married you." My father, the man who once carried me on his shoulders and swore he would protect me forever, stood behind her like a shadow. His eyes were cold, filled with nothing but disappointment. He used to tuck me in every night and whisper that I was his whole world. Now he just shook his head slowly. "Enough, Lily. The proof is right here. Your mother would be ashamed. Get out. You are no longer my daughter." The heavy wooden door slammed shut with a finality that echoed louder than thunder. The deadbolt clicked like a blade, cutting every tie I had left. I stayed kneeling in the pouring rain, my heart splintering into 1,000 jagged shards. No money, no phone, no one who cared. Just a soaked suitcase and a pain so deep it felt like it would swallow me whole. That night I wandered the empty streets, shoes squelching with every step, until I found a bus shelter to curl up in. The cold sank into my bones until I couldn't feel my fingers. My stomach twisted with hunger. Distant car horns reminded me the world kept spinning while I had been thrown away like garbage. The days that followed were pure hell. I slept on park benches, shivering inside a torn sleeping bag someone had left behind. I ate whatever I could salvage from trash bins behind fast food places. My part-time cafe job fired me because I kept missing shifts. I had nowhere to shower or change. I became invisible. Just another shadow drifting through the city. Every single night I whispered to the darkness, "Will I make it until morning? Or will they find me frozen here tomorrow?" Then one gray, drizzly afternoon, while I hid inside the public library to escape the cold, I scrolled through the free computers and saw the ad that would change everything. Abandoned Victorian house for sale, only $1. Buyer assumes all back taxes and repairs. Needs love and a new owner. I laughed bitterly through my chapped lips. $1? It sounded like a cruel joke. But I had nothing left to lose. With the last $20 I had begged from strangers, I bought a one-way bus ticket and rode 50 miles to that sleepy little town. The auction lasted less than 5 minutes. Nobody wanted the so-called haunted place at 123 Elm Street. The gavel fell, and suddenly, it was mine. The old front door groaned like it was in pain when I pushed it open. A wave of musty, damp air rushed out, thick with the smell of forgotten years. Dust danced in the thin shafts of sunlight slicing through cracked windows. Every floorboard creaked under my sneakers, as if the house itself was whispering secrets. The wallpaper peeled in long curls, spiderwebs hung like lace curtains. Yet for the first time in weeks, I felt something warm flicker inside my chest. This broken-down place was mine, my shelter, my beginning. I spent my days cleaning with supplies I bought at yard sales for pennies. I scrubbed floors until my hands bled, patched holes in the roof with tar paper, and painted over the stains with cheap white paint. At night, the house came alive in ways that made my skin prickle. Footsteps echoed across the upstairs hallway when no one was there. Wind howled through hidden cracks like a distant cry. Sometimes I heard my name whispered so softly, I thought I was losing my mind. I told myself it was just the old pipes, just the settling wood. But my heart hammered every time the lights went out. Slowly, clues began to appear. I found a dusty photo album wedged beneath a loose floorboard, pictures of a woman whose face looked almost exactly like mine. Letters addressed to my dearest granddaughter Lily, in elegant handwriting. The woman was my real grandmother. The one Dad had always claimed died years ago and left us nothing. One stormy evening, I was balancing on a ladder in the upstairs bedroom, trying to fix a sagging ceiling panel. My fingers brushed against something loose. I pulled it away, and discovered a small metal box hidden deep inside the wall. Covered in decades of dust, my hands shook so badly I almost dropped it. Inside lay a yellowed envelope with 3 words written in careful ink. Last will and testament. For Lily only. I sank to the dusty floor, knees weak, heart thundering. It was my grandmother's final letter, dated years before she passed. She had left me this very house built on land now worth millions plus a trust fund holding over $2 million. But the real twist came in the handwritten note folded inside. Grandmother had suspected Victoria from the very first day. She had secretly transferred that $500,000 into an account meant for me as my coming-of-age gift. Victoria had stolen it, forged my signature, and used the money to frame me perfectly. Worst of all, Grandmother had saved the proof. Printed emails, secret bank records, and even a confession letter Victoria had written, but never sent. Tears poured down my face, soaking the old paper. The abandoned house wasn't random at all. Grandmother had planned everything so the one person who truly deserved it, me, would find it and finally learn the truth. Victoria hadn't just hated me. She had manipulated my father until he turned against his own blood. A week later, I hired a lawyer. The evidence was ironclad. Victoria was arrested for fraud the very next day. My father showed up at the front door of my new home, his face pale and eyes brimming with regret. Lily, my little girl. I was blind. She lied about everything, and I believed her. Can you ever forgive your foolish old dad? I looked at the man who had once broken me completely and felt something inside my chest soften. I forgive you, Dad, I whispered. But I need time. This house. It's my real home now. Today the old Victorian glows with warm golden light. I used part of my inheritance to open a small shelter for girls who are lost and homeless, just like I once was. The pain of being kicked out and abandoned led me to a life filled with purpose. Every night when the wind sighs through the windows, I no longer feel afraid. Instead, it reminds me that even from the ashes of betrayal, something beautiful can grow. If you are standing in the rain right now, heart shattered, and feeling completely alone, please remember this. The abandoned house waiting in your life might be the very place where your healing begins. Inside its walls could be a will that changes everything, a will written in hope. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it leaves a little light burning in your darkest night. If you are standing in the rain right now, heart shattered, and feeling completely alone, please remember this. The abandoned house waiting in your life might be the very place where your healing begins. Inside its walls could be a will that changes everything, a will written in hope. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it leaves a little light burning in your darkest night.